Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. We are coming off SmackDown Live, the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Got more of your questions regarding WrestleMania and other topics, so let's get started today with the first one, which comes from KO Mania. Hey Aaron, do you agree with the booking decisions of WrestleMania? What did you like and what would you have done differently? I do have some issues with the booking of WrestleMania. I think most notably, I would have had Bray Wyatt retain the WWE title. I was not a fan of him losing the WWE title to Randy Orton after only having a month-and-a-half reign as champion. I think Bray Wyatt should have had more of a lengthy reign as WWE champion, and I think he needed the win a lot more than Orton. You have to keep in mind that Wyatt has already been losing several matches. He's got somewhat of a reverse Undertaker streak going at this point. He lost to Cena at WrestleMania 30. He lost to Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. He got beat up by The Rock and Steve Austin at WrestleMania 32. And now he lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania 33. I think Orton could have lost that one. That's just my opinion. The other matches, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, yeah, I get it. I understand WWE's point of view, getting the mainstream publicity by having Mojo Rawley win and having the football player interfere. But I think Braun Strowman should have won it. If you're building up Strowman for Roman Reigns or even Brock Lesnar, then I think Strowman really needed the win coming off of the loss to Reigns at the Fastlane pay-per-view. But other than that, I think the booking made sense for the most part at WrestleMania. This one comes from Rob. Do you feel Bray Wyatt dropped the belt to Randy because they have plans on moving him to Raw soon? No, because of the fact that WWE's building up this House of Horrors match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I'm guessing that that's going to be the main event for the next SmackDown pay-per-view, unless they do something sooner. Maybe they'll do it this week on SmackDown. Who knows? They may do it sooner than later. But the fact that Bray Wyatt would even set up a match like that, and he's entitled to his rematch for the WWE title. So I think it's unlikely that Wyatt goes to Raw, and I really don't see the need for him to go to Raw. He can continue feuding with Orton. He could feud with Luke Harper at some point. There's a lot more Bray can do on SmackDown than Raw, in my opinion. I think he would get lost in the shuffle on Raw, but that's just how I see it. I think he's best off on SmackDown, and my gut feeling is he'll be staying on SmackDown. Got this one here from Rag Red. What is the reason behind WWE not advertising Undertaker's WrestleMania match as his last match beforehand? Who knows? Maybe it was The Undertaker's call. Maybe he did not want to advertise it and make a big deal out of it. You know, we've seen it done several times with Ric Flair's match being hyped up as his retirement match, Shawn Michaels' match being hyped up as his retirement match. I think with Undertaker, it was something different to not advertise it in advance and not tell people, oh, this is going to be The Undertaker's last match, or it may be his last match. I liked the fact that it wasn't announced in advance because it was something different. And I like what Undertaker did with just taking off his gear and not saying anything. That goes in line with the Undertaker character being more mysterious and not breaking kayfabe or anything like that. I think the way it was done was really well done. And maybe that's the way the Undertaker wanted it. And if that's how he wanted it, then I say let him do what he wants. He's the Undertaker. I thought it was well done. Wasn't a big fan of the match, but the aftermath with the way the Undertaker was riding off into the sunset, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice send-off for him, and something different from what Michaels and Flair did. Got this one here from Ziggler is Money. How many WrestleMania main events will they ruin with Roman Reigns and his booking? Where does he go after this, since he will not turn heel? If you felt the WrestleMania main event was ruined by the booking of Roman Reigns, then you might as well stop watching now, because like you said, he's not turning heel. Nothing is going to change with Roman Reigns. he will continue to be pushed in this manner as the superhero who is a heel in the eyes of the adult male fans who feel he's being shoved down WWE's throats. And that's how WWE sees it. They see it as these smart fans that complain, they're going to keep watching and they will learn to deal with it, just like they dealt with Cena. For all those years, fans complained about Cena not turning heel, but they kept watching. They kept buying the pay-per-views. They kept spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to go to WrestleMania every year. These fans that complained and booed Roman Reigns out of the building on Raw, they spent a lot of money to be there. Until WWE starts losing money and the fans start walking away and stop investing money into the product, nothing is going to change. So it will continue to be business as usual. Got this one here from Don Alexander. Hey Aaron, your thoughts on the Raw reaction to Roman Reigns and the FU Roman chants? Why not just turn him heel like they did Rock in '97? Excuse me. That was something else with Roman Reigns on Raw. That was quite the segment. One of the most interesting Raw segments in a very long time. That crowd was very hostile towards Roman Reigns. The biggest heel reaction I think I've seen for anybody since John Cena, maybe back at the 2011 Money in the Bank pay-per-view, maybe even going as far back as One Night Stand in terms of a hostile crowd. I mean, I think One Night Stand was the last time I remember an FU chant at a wrestler. It was very intense, but going back to that previous question, the fans are still tuning in and the fans still had a good time. You ask those fans that attended Raw, they were having fun, and most likely the majority of those fans will be going to WrestleMania next year and going through the whole process again, spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to be part of the WWE WrestleMania experience. And they'll continue to boo Roman Reigns, and that's what WWE's counting on. They are counting on the fans continuing to support the product even though they do not like Roman Reigns, or they claim they do not like Roman Reigns. But WWE feels they like to boo Roman Reigns and it's part of the show and they're having fun booing Roman Reigns, and WWE sees that as a positive. Now, we all know that from a creative standpoint, it's not something we want to see. We would like to see WWE change things up creatively with Roman Reigns, and that's part of what everyone's complaining about, the fact that Roman Reigns is just John Cena 2.0. And why not turn Roman like they turned Rocky Maivia in '97? And I agree with that. You see what happened with Rocky in 1997, and when he turned heel, how he just completely did a 180 in terms of his character and really found himself on the mic and became arguably the biggest star in wrestling history, one of the top three next to Austin and Hulk Hogan. But back then, it was a different era, a different situation. You had the Monday Night Wars, and WWE was in a losing battle to WCW. They had to experiment and try different things. And if the fans were booing, you know, WWE was afraid that those fans might stop watching Raw and tune into Nitro unless they listened to the fans and made changes. Now, WWE controls everything. They can do what they want. They do not need to take a risk with a Roman Reigns heel turn, and their attitude is, why jeopardize it? He's already a heel to the fans out there, and they're still paying money. So as long as they're still paying money, nothing is going to change. Got this one here from John. Are you excited for the beast that broke the streak versus the big dog that broke the man behind the streak? I'm fine with the match. I like the idea of the match. I think it's inevitable that it's going to happen. It makes sense because at WrestleMania 31, there was no decisive conclusion to Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. You had Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank, and one would think that you would have these two finally settle their score and there would be a rematch. In this case, a rematch makes total sense. It's not like Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, where I felt that Undertaker coming back a year and a half later to avenge Brock Lesnar, to me that wasn't really necessary. But with Roman Reigns and Brock Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I think that's a very, very logical match to do at some point for the Universal title. The question is when. And I got this question here from Turbonius. How long do you see Brock Lesnar holding on to the Universal title? If you believe the rumors out there, he might hold the title until next year's WrestleMania when WWE does Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, if they decide to do that for next year's WrestleMania. I think personally it would be better to do it at SummerSlam and not wait that long. I'm not really a huge fan of Brock Lesnar, the part-time Universal Champion, for the next year. I think that's a little bit overkill. But if they want to hold off on it until SummerSlam, I think SummerSlam would be a great place to do Lesnar versus Reigns too. They might do it sooner, but my gut feeling is Lesnar will probably feud with Braun Strowman first and then face Roman Reigns, or maybe Lesnar versus Kevin Owens at some point, Lesnar versus Finn Balor. There's a lot of different matches you can do with Brock Lesnar as Universal Champion throughout the next several months before SummerSlam. But I think stretching it out to WrestleMania is a bit much. I'd rather they do it sooner than WrestleMania. But they very well could drag this thing out until next year's WrestleMania. Would not surprise me. Got this one here from Wade Kingston. How's it going? It's going good. I am from Jamaica and first time asker. How would you like to book Nakamura in your own way if you were to do so? Obviously, there's the big match that people want to see, Nakamura versus AJ Styles, and I would absolutely do that match fairly soon. Do it on pay-per-view. Something to really get Nakamura established. Now, the interesting thing is AJ Styles turning face. We saw the segment on SmackDown where AJ shook Shane McMahon's hand. I guess you could do a face versus face match, AJ versus Nakamura, but I would definitely do that match as soon as possible. I think it's really important to establish Nakamura with the casual fans. Not everyone watches NXT, and Nakamura did get a great reaction on SmackDown, but that was still a lot of the out-of-town fans that were still in the area and stuck around for SmackDown. Next week, I'm guessing he's not going to get as big of a reaction. I think by doing AJ versus Nakamura and letting them have a great match on pay-per-view, that will really establish Nakamura and get him over with the casual fans. So I would definitely do that in the short term to build up Nakamura, if you're asking me what I would do with him right away. But who knows what's going to happen, because you have this superstar shakeup, and I'll talk about that more in the next video. AJ could end up on Raw, and I could see a lot of fans being upset with that. I really think AJ should stay on the same brand as Nakamura and let those two tear it up and really get Nakamura over with the fans, with the casual fans. Got this one here from Sean T. Flick, one of my regulars. Feeling robbed of their WrestleMania moment, could you see Enzo and Cass turning heel on the Hardys? Excuse me? Probably not. My guess is Enzo and Cass end up on SmackDown Live. If I was going to make an early prediction, and I'll talk about this more, like I said, in the next video, I think Enzo and Cass will end up on SmackDown as part of this superstar shakeup. To me, they're so over as babyfaces, I think turning them heel would be a big mistake right now. I could see Enzo possibly being a heel manager at some point, and Big Cass, I think once Enzo and Cass break up, Cass is going to get this huge singles push. But in the meantime, I would like to see Enzo and Cass as the tag team champions before they break up. I could see them going to SmackDown, definitely. I do not see them turning heel against the Hardy Boys. I think that that would be a mistake, and I'm not expecting that to happen. Got this one here from The Dark One. Do you think WWE should bring back past tag teams like the World's Greatest Tag Team, Law Resistance, and so forth? Not really. I like the fact that the Hardys are back. I think that's good enough for now. Every now and then bringing back a top-level tag team. I think Shelton Benjamin is fine on his own if WWE's bringing him back now that he's cleared. I think he should just come back on his own as a single star. I do not see the need to bring back Charlie Haas. I know a lot of people have suggested the world's greatest tag team versus American Alpha. Maybe you could do that at some point, but quite frankly, I think it's better for Shelton Benjamin to be on his own and maybe have Shelton Benjamin feud with Baron Corbin at some point if Corbin wins the IC title from Ambrose. I think that that would be better for Benjamin to be back as a single star. And La Resistance, I mean, I honestly don't think that many people would care. I don't think they were a big enough tag team to really come back and get a huge nostalgia pop. I see no need to bring them back. If you're going to bring back a tag team, you bring back a tag team like the Hardy Boys, you know, a tag team that was one of the most popular acts in the company, not a tag team that was basically a mid-card tag team at best. I just don't really see enough interest in bringing back a team like that. Got this one here from Kane. Do the people playing beach ball annoy you? It's disrespectful, isn't it? I really don't see a problem with it in general. I mean, I remember as far back as like 1998 on Raw, you had fans playing with beach balls in the crowd. I think it was the main event on a July Raw. It was Steve Austin and The Undertaker against the New Age Outlaws, and I remember a fan hit a beach ball into the ring and Steve Austin kicked the ball back into the crowd. That was a fun, spontaneous moment on Raw, and it just added to the atmosphere of Raw being a must-see show. So I like the beach balls for that purpose, to add to the festive atmosphere of the show. Now, the thing that I find interesting is that the fans would throw the beach ball around during a cruiserweight match. You know, this is why WWE has this attitude about Roman Reigns. You know, the fans complain about Roman being shoved down everyone's throats and how the cruiserweights are not getting pushed. But then when the cruiserweights are out there, the fans start chanting for other people. They start throwing beach balls around. And what does that tell Vince? That tells Vince that the people that are complaining are a vocal minority. Even a crowd of 15,000, that doesn't represent the millions of people that are watching WWE. That's just a small portion of the audience. That's what you're telling Vince when you throw a beach ball around during a cruiserweight match. You're reinforcing how Vince and WWE feel about the fans and the pushes of Roman Reigns and guys like John Cena. So to me, it's not doing the fans any favors that are complaining by doing stuff like that during the cruiserweight matches. When, you know, these fans are complaining, they should be as invested in the cruiserweights as they are in booing Roman Reigns, and they're not. They're just not making noise. And, you know, the fact of the matter is WWE pays attention to the noise that people make. Got this one here from JJ Killa. What's next for The Miz since he lost to Cena? Was that a momentum killer? Not necessarily. I mean, I knew going in Miz and Maurice were going to lose to Cena and Nikki. I mean, that was one of the most predictable outcomes of WrestleMania. One of the few matches that I actually predicted correctly. I knew it was going to be basically Miz and Maurice just taking a beating by Cena and Nikki. So I wasn't expecting much out of this. I think that Miz and Nikki did get elevated in the sense that they delivered some awesome promos, Miz in particular. And after WrestleMania, they went out there, they continued to spoof Cena and Nikki, and it was great. It was awesome. So as long as The Miz goes out there and is entertaining, I think he's going to be fine in WWE. Will he be the WWE champion again? I have mixed feelings. I mean, I would like to see it happen, but I think realistically, it's probably not going to happen. But I think The Miz will continue to be a major star in WWE for years to come, because he's one of those few guys that continues to get better year after year, continues to show improvement. I think he will continue to be a major force in WWE. Like I've said before, the cream rises to the top, and I think that The Miz will continue to succeed in WWE just because of the fact that he's very talented. And the booking might hurt him at times, but I think he'll be just fine in WWE. He'll continue to be one of the top guys in the company. Maybe not the top guy, but he'll continue to be a major superstar. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Got more of your questions? Keep them coming in at twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag RoadToNoDQ1000. Got more videos coming up this week, so stay tuned. Check out the other videos. Check out the WrestleMania review video if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time.